What's up guys, Matty here. In today's video, we're going to be checking out a new plugin from Kiive Audio called Nfuse. Now this plugin seems to be an analog representation of two different analog hardware devices. One being the Neve Master Bus Transformer and the other being the SSL Fusion. Now I had previously reviewed the Neve MBT and I really liked the device, but it was a little too expensive for my budget. And these days I just know that I don't want to have to recall something on every single mix. So I was super excited to see that this came out as a plugin, and I wanted to find out if it actually sounds as good as the hardware device. So luckily on Access Analog, which is a website where you can actually run your audio through hardware devices and change the parameters, they have not only the SSL Fusion, but also the MBT. So in today's video, I will show you guys the plugin, and then we will actually compare it to the analog counterparts, both of the Fusion and the MBT. Let's go. All right, guys, so here's the plugin right here. And as you open it up, it defaults to the Neve replica, right? But if you hit this button here, it says N and F, boom, it's suddenly an SSL Fusion emulation, or somewhat. To me, the Neve one is a little bit closer to what the actual hardware is than the Fusion one, and mainly the difference is the compressor, which we'll go over. First, let's start with the Neve side. You have input, and then a high-pass filter at the bottom. Then you have the saturation section. Now, you have the dark and the red. The dark is more for lower harmonics, red more higher harmonics, and you have the Zener driver, which pushes it a bit more. On the analog device, there's one more knob here to add how much, but I feel like just using these, it gets pretty close, and you'll hear soon how close it gets. Next, we move on to the EQ section. So you have boost, 9 dB from 3K to 24K, and then the low boost is from 30 Hertz to 240. Next, on to the compressor, basic compressor here, threshold, blend, makeup, gain, release, sidechain filter all the way up to 350, and then you have this high ratio button here. Lastly, which is something I've always loved from the Neve gear, is the stereo imager. It has a width and then a high pass filter, so that you don't have to widen out your low end. Now switching over to the SSL side, you have an input, high pass filter once again. This is their saturation section, just like on the Fusion, you have the drive and the density. Then their violet EQ, 30 Hertz up to 90, and it boosts or cuts 9 dB. The higher shelf one is 8K to 20K, and then the same 9 dB a booster cut. Now here is where the compressor section is quite a bit different on the plugin compared to the hardware, and I'd be willing to say I like the model of the plugin better, because what the plugin's giving you is the actual bus compressor, which I find way more useful than just a high frequency reducer, basically a de-esser, which is like on the actual hardware. Then you have your stereo image, width and shape. We'll get onto all this once we start listening. And then your final output stage. Now, to dive a little deeper, what makes this even more unique is, say you want the saturation from the Neve, but all the other stuff from the SSL, well, you can switch each part individually and have Frankenstein of the Neve and the SSL mixed together. So you want the Neve saturation, SSL EQ, the Neve compressor, and the SSL stereo imaging. You can do that with this plugin. All right, so now that we've gone over the settings of the plugin, we're gonna do some listening examples. Now, what I did to make sure this was fair is I ran the dry signal through the converter, just did a loop back. It's a Galaxy 64 converter that they're using on Access Analog, so I wanted to make sure that we're doing a fair test. So that's running through just the loop back, and then we'll have the examples. The way we're gonna listen to this is I'm just gonna give you the dry signal just so you guys can hear the mix without anything on it. Then it's going to go through the actual plugin, right? This is the settings that we're using. Then it will go through the MBT, the actual hardware right here. One thing to note, I did one with the compressor and one without the compressor. And if you look here, you'll see as we go by what they are. So here's Nfuse, no compressor, then no compressor analog, with compressor plugin, then with compressor analog. Hopefully that's easy enough to understand. All right, let's take a listen. I put my weight all on you, and you hold it for me. You know it's shorty. I put my weight on you. I can't bear it by myself. I put my weight all on you, and you hold it for me. All right, so those are the examples. As you might have been able to tell, it sounds pretty dang close to the hardware. I bet if we just A/B'd these without any visuals, we'd all have a hard time discerning which one was which. Moving on, let's go to some drums. We got the dry drums, just like we just did. Then the actual plugin, hardware, compressor without compressor. So you get it. Let's go. So once again, really close. I do feel like the compressor just reacts a little bit differently, and that could just be me spending a little more time tweaking them to get them to be a little bit closer. But other than that, still sounds pretty close to the hardware. All right, so moving on, we're gonna go to the SSL side now. So we're gonna go dry, then the fuse right here with these settings, and then it will be the actual analog SSL fusion playing third.
I can't bear it by myself. I put my weight all on you, and you hold it for me. You know it's shorty. I put my weight on you. I can't bear it by myself. I put my weight all on you, and you hold it for me. You know it's shorty. I put my weight on you. I can't bear it by myself. I put my weight all on you, and you hold it for me. You know it's shorty. I put my weight on you. My weight on. I can't bear it by myself. I put my weight all on you. I put my weight all on you. I put my weight all on you. By myself.
Once again, really close. There's a little bit of a difference, but like I said, maybe dialing it in a bit more, we could get a little bit closer, but it's just pretty cool to see that they got really close with both of these devices, one being like a $4,000 device, which is pretty wild. All right, last one. Let's just do the drums with the SSL. So it's going to go dry, fuse, fusion. Okay, so again, close. Now, what you might have noticed is I didn't do a compressor version of the Fusion and the plugin, only because they're pretty different things and it's not a fair comparison, so there's really no point. But other than that, I'm pretty impressed with how this plugin compares to the analog devices. All right, guys, so that is the video. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think it stands up to the hardware? I personally do. It's up to you. Quick disclaimer, I did not get paid by anyone to do this video. I did get the plugin for free for a review, and that is it. They didn't ask me to do anything other than that, and I don't usually do paid videos, so I just want to make that clear. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you need your songs mixed or mastered, hit me up at mixandmastermysong.com. Talk to you guys soon.